5 seconds remaining. Reserve time. Navis turn to ban. Dire's team
Beastmaster.
Navis turn to pick.
Все берут цену, я рекомендую брать цену, на самом деле остался 10 будет, можно получить сейчас
Dire team pick.
И понятно, сколько они вышли.
Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Dire team back. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time. Navis turn to ban. Dire team back. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time. Navis turn to ban. Navis turn to pick.
Все замечательно, как будто бы вот это разное поменяли.
Dire team pick.
Reborn, это опять же, если и остался тоже дисплей, это не то же самое. И также видимо область, которую сейчас показывается, и которые ничего там, все
Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time. Navis turn to pick.
Все герои, которые используют я уверен, что сейчас это остается. И это очень хороший инструмент.
10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time. Dire team pick. Navis turn to bed.
То есть эти приемы, ну хорошо, предположим, потенциальный ход. Если я говорю, что героев из пола дети, которые которые должны найти результат.
10 seconds remaining.
Все герои, все герои,
5 seconds remaining.
хорошо. Я очень
Reserve time.
ощущение добра, осталось добрать героя, осталось добрать героя, который нравится. Я думаю, что правильно как выйти рядом, что там есть
Dire team battle. Seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time. Navi's turn to pick off. Dire team seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time.
Что-то такое надо, что опять же, много таргетов сполосов, носители ставят пакет. Но ты тоже плохо, потому что делают 4, очень нравится, как я управляю.
Thank you very much, Nahaz. I'll tell you who's back. It's the Davids, ready for Navi versus Vici Gaming on home turf. Gods, Navi, the crowd is hyped after yesterday. They not only are rooting for Navi, but they have a reason to believe in them. Do you believe in the Navi draft?
It's good. It's very Navi-like. I think this is the kind of picks that they've done well with. The analysts talked a bit about the Io backing up Dendi in the mid lane and how much Dendi means to this team as far as getting off to a good start. When he gets shut down, they don't do well. And General and VG.R are players who can be a bit more kind of self-sustainable. So if Dendi gets off to a good start, I think Navi take it. For Vici Gaming Reborn, it's going to be all about what they can get out of the Enchantress.
We'll see if that's the case.
I refuse to make predictions because I don't want to curse any more teams today, LD. I've done enough of that.
Well, it's okay. Ryu picking up the slack with some of the last-minute draft predictions there. So here we go. Vici Gaming Reborn versus Navi. Game 1, best of 3. Winner will be facing LGD. So we have a shot at an all-Chinese winner bracket finals. Yep. And here we go. Teams heading out to the lanes now.
Yep. Early TP from DDC on the Venge, so he gets down an early lane mode up top, and we'll see Navi just walk themselves out to their lanes.
Yeah, they're going to send General up towards the top side. Looks like he's got the early Iron Talon likely coming out, so I have the option of retreating back. The Nature's Prophet to be handled by VG.R, so it is going to be the one position Nature's Prophet saw yesterday was extremely effective on the rotations.
crowd already getting behind Na'Vi. Unfortunately for Na'Vi, small little things, but their ward was spotted, so it should be a very easy D ward for the side of VG Gaming Reborn. They're even pinging exactly where it is. I think they're probably just deciding who they want to maybe give the gold to, who they want to get the experience on, because this is half a level worth of experience. And Mikasa may get solo. They give this to Mikasa, he gets a battery, he's level 2. This is actually a huge deal when you're playing a mid matchup against a potential 1v2 with the Io there. So
the question is, does he get it? This has the potential for a very aggressive level 1 engagement, and not where Enchantress shines.
They're swinging bottom. They have to get there fast though. Yang is trying to protect and secure it. Death Puppet, run! Move those little legs! Float!
Oh man, the damage from VG.R. Yang is getting slaughtered by these trits. He's got to be careful. Mikasa will grab the bounty rune, but I mean, that's a salve's worth of damage, and Yang's going to pop it now.
Yeah. So VG.R at this point he's already got a huge edge in the 1v1 matchup at bottom. He's probably just he's telling Artstyle, just go help the offlane. This is what Artstyle actually did yesterday as well against the OG in one of the OG games, where they thought that Miracle was going to have a 1v1 matchup with the Sand King versus Beastmaster, but there was Artstyle on the Vengeful Spirit just to disrupt things, and again we'll have the same thing with Artstyle starting off in the offlane.
Yeah, he does start here top. Looking to assist General. They're going to move in. Sakuchi did not hit Artstyle though, so very limited damage to come out from ZYF. In general, taking full advantage. DDC getting smacked around pretty heavily by the boy. The creeps coming in. Oh, close call for DDC. And then we see ZYF getting forced back. So already the bullying begins in earnest for Na'Vi, both top and bottom, heavily in their favor just through these first few early exchanges.
Yeah, really good efficient trades there, and VG have to be a bit careful about how they deal with this top lane. Enchantress is going to be under a lot of pressure to get active early on, and unfortunately for FY, he doesn't find the best creep to do that with the Wild Wing Ripper.
You say that, but...
Oh, he's got the Hellbear mid.
Suneko not too happy with the Hellbear.
This is like one of those harassing creeps. He's not using this to try and secure a kill, he's using this to try and secure some farm and experience for Mikasa mid. I think more than harassing and assisting the mid lane, he needs to actually get a 2-creep duo that can find kills. Probably in the top lane as your ideal scenario.
Going to work, but the tornadoes coming in. That's going to usher Suneko back. Dendi really wants to commit to this. Has the blink. Mikasa's in the danger zone, and Dendi blinks for looking for the kill. The creep wants to turn it with the clap, but it's first blood to Na'Vi. And man, this crowd, they sure love their hometown heroes.
And they're going to get a rune instantly to refill Suneko's bottle, so both Dendi and Suneko will be able to heal themselves back up and sustain the pressure on Mikasa. Oh boy, is this going to be tough for Death Prophet.
Yeah, most other dual lanes that happens, and you're going to Fountain, possibly both here. We want top lane action breaking now as Artstyle gets run over. General looking to turn this around, should be able to finish off DDC. One more auto attack, does get the distance there for it, and could even maybe turn onto the Weaver. No, he's going to TP out. That's quite safe.
Good play from General, very safe. He pops the Fairy Fire even before he TPs. Ends up not being needed, but he wants to make sure he doesn't give up a secondary kill to the Weaver of End.
Oh, Dendi going in deep on the mid lane. Mikasa, this happened yesterday, got punished mid. Did come back later. The punishment will continue. 2 for Na'Vi here in the mid. And no help really in sight from FY, aside from a creep here or there, but yet to see the smoke getting popped. Wonder when it's going to come out.
Yeah. Mikasa, very capable, mechanically skilled mid player, but where like a slightly lesser experienced mid player is going to struggle is in the 1v2 settings, when that support comes into play in the mid lane. If Mikasa has a straight 1v1 with Dendi, I actually think he does fine. He has the mechanical skills to not get crushed in lane, but when there's this Io there and an Io Corp, like you're used to maybe versing an Io Tiny in the mid lane if you go way back, but something like an Io Corp is just something you're just not used to. Corp has endless HP and mana regen because of just the bottle regen sharing of the Io, and that's causing Death Prophet huge issues here, and that's 2 deaths despite starting level 2 at minute 0 with a bounty rune and the ward and the D ward.
It's not only that, it's also the TP still being on cooldown, so he's got to hoof it out to the lane. Fortunately, the lane is pushing, and there's the smoke pop directly after the pause. Vici Gaming sweeping around top. They do have the lane ward, so they know that Na'Vi are off in the jungle. Should be able to get a kill here. At least in Artstyle, the cast bounces are perfect, and they pretty much are. Still DDC getting the Venge stun. Can he block this? Doesn't seem like he'll be able to. The Weaver's going to dive in. Out comes the... Oh, never mind that. Suneko already rotating.
Witch Doctor
closes the door on the gank.
That's why you pick Witch Doctor against Enchantress.
Yeah, the creeps were real grouped up there, and just no way to separate them in time.
For FY, perhaps you could say you should lead that gank with just the one neutral creep and have the other neutral creep trailing further behind. But realistically, you're just hoping that the smoke doesn't pop in such an unfortunate position where Artstyle has the high ground, you're on the low ground, he sees you before you see him.
Bottom lane, Yang looking for a bit of a dive here on VG.R. 3 napalm stacks up, but not enough to really go for a kill. And you know, you're talking about Mikasa struggling in the 1v2. It's going to be a 1v3 soon if this Prophet decides to come mid, so his life only likely to get harder once the phase boots are
And
online.
even if it's just an ultimate that he's throwing out to support, it's a big extra boost of damage to help bring down Mikasa, who is level 4.5. Dendi Quap hitting level 5 already, despite sharing experience with Suniko, so I don't see Mikasa having a very fun time here. He's only just managed to farm up his boots. He has no Tango, so a Nature's Prophet TP would spell the death of him. I think VG.R is probably just saying, look, if you guys can keep killing him without me, great, because I'm crushing my lane. 23 CS, 8 denies, Batrider with just the 12 CS. VG.R, if given the option, will just stay in this bottom lane for as long as possible until his team really need him elsewhere.
Navi off to a great start here, leading 3-1, farming well on all 3 cores, and FY's been quiet. This was their first overall pick, the Enchantress, but we've yet to see success from him. Not just the Witch Doctor smoke gang not paying off, but hasn't gotten the lane harass. Really, the IO secured mid. The Enchantress has not done the same. Yeah, you expect more out of your first pick.
Well, Dendi's going in aggressive once more.
Siphon comes out, but the IO just ignores it essentially, negates all that damage. Dendi does drop low under tower, but again, pop goes the Death Prophet, and this is right before the Nature's Prophet level 6, so keeping eyes on VG.R. He may be about to jump the top lane. In fact, the ult's online, and it's right with Zero at the DDC. Look for the dive. They've got to be real careful. Prophet ult's getting popped, and now they're turning it. VG Gaming on in the run. There's the single stun from the cask. Looks like VG Gaming will escape the Nature's Wrath and look for the TP out, so they dodge a small bullet here, but still frees up the lane. Does force the Suneko rotation, so I suppose a decent result there for VG in the end.
Not losing anyone is kind of the name of the game at this point. You're already just kind of spilling blood in this mid lane time and time again. You just got to slow things down, try and secure a bit more farm, let FY control the tempo of the game.
Yeah, well, just a lead at bottom. You don't expect that Dendi rotation, and it gets punished.
And Dendi can just go anywhere, and he even says, like, oh, I have this Sonic Wave. He could solo kill Mikasa mid with that Sonic Wave, but he's already done his job shutting down Mikasa. He'd rather kind of share the work with the rest of his team, as well as, well, share the deaths with the rest of the Vici Gaming Reborn side, so make sure that Batrider's blink gets slowed down with Mikasa already playing from behind.
I imagine FY just looks at this Navi lineup already and says, I don't really know where to gank. Quap can just blink away. Io's going to sit far back. The Witch Doctor likely to interrupt any sort of rotation. Then you get counter yanked by the NP. There's just no openings right now.
Yeah.
It's almost like it feels like the window's already closed.
And to go back to the draft kind of discussion, it was the Enchantress who had to be the key hero for Vici Gaming Reborn.
They found the DDC, tried to sneak in the trees, but the Hawk was waiting. Now the Prophet's coming in, phase boots are ready. DDC, blinked out by VG.R, they've got his crowd, and they'll drop it there. Preventing the Sakuchi out, doesn't have the tangos. ZYF in all kinds of danger, does have the time up, skills it up, tries to turn, has the Sakuchi, might actually be able to get a kill out of this, no, with a heal. Boots General in fighting shape. That looks like they're going to drop a Sal for him. He's still got tangos ready, and he should be okay in the end.
Yeah.
So ZYF, nice escape, and does limit the damage, but it's still all Navi damage.
And Navi are just going to get scary as Relocate comes online soon. Beastmaster will half a level away as well. Things not going to be getting better for Vici Gaming Reborn anytime soon. When your first like 2 neutral creep pickups for FY, like both go towards the mid lane. Despite that, Mikasa still dies multiple times in a row. That's just like that's FY's entire, not just FY's entire early game run, Mikasa's entire early game run, and then there's no help towards the top lane, which Navi were pressuring with a dual lane. Navi won effectively 3 lanes plus the jungle. They shut down FY's jungle because his rotations did nothing. First the creeps mid did nothing, then the gank top did nothing. So every single lane and the jungle has just backfired for Vici Gaming.
It really brings new levels of pain and suffering to the phrase "salt in the wound." This is far worse than that. Navi keeping the pressure up. Looks like they may even want to move on mid. And the thing for Vici that is concerning is these are not the best comeback heroes. A Weaver, who is doing okay, the best on the team, but still not fantastically. Mikasa, Death Prophet here that if she falls behind is food, and right now has nothing but a null talisman to buff her up as far as HP goes.
Yep.
Very squishy, very easy prey for the burst damage of Navi, but they finally will make a move with FY, Lasso online. Vici Gaming looking to get some sort of momentum here to the bottom lane. At the same moment, it's Navi also smoking. They do have a relocate ready though, gods. This could backfire bottom lane.
Vici is very tanky. His 10 stick charges, 940 HP.
I'm not sure if they've realized the relocate's up. Go right onto your head, so you're all getting pulled back. Are they going to come in? No relocate just yet. And they will sack it. Okay. So instead they're going to march on towards top, and we'll have to see how good ZYF is at dodging this.
Yeah, interesting choice. Very close to the Vici Gaming Reborn tower, so if you relocate in, Vici Gaming Reborn can suddenly bring 4 or 5 heroes down there. They'd rather try and find the kill up top.
He's got the time lapse available, maybe force the pop it, Dendi blink, and an ultimate could spell doom, and now he's just going to get with the stream. Hesitated on the time lapse, may have died anyway, but just makes it easy.
Yeah, it's hard. You time lapse there, you get pulled back, and Dendi kills you anyway, so...
Then they do relocate. This time, Saneko right into the stun of DDC. He is going to drop quicker than Dendi looks to clean up. The Profit secures a double. VG.R, he comes in and looks to finish them off with his hero, but already the corpses have hit the deck, and this is without even looking at the top lane, where General's going to take a tier 1 tower. Na'Vi, pressure everywhere. It really does bring back that old DTS squad, captained by none other than Artstyle.
Raw TP out from Beastmaster, just playing things safe, knowing he would be in a bit of a pickle there with no teammates to support him and a Batrider TP in, but absolutely, it's been constant aggression. As soon as Na'Vi go up to the good start, they're just snowballing out of control. Dendi 3-0 and 4 at 10 minutes into the game, and
what a nice cast, and look at it go from the low ground. Artstyle just slagging on Mikasa mid. This is turning into a bit of a pub stomp, gods.
Absolutely. And right now, this early game for Vici Gaming Reborn has been lost in the middle lane. It's just been a complete mismatch because of the 2v1 setup and having that stand-in factor in the mid lane. You can never blame the stand-in for it, but that's where this Vici Gaming Reborn strategy has failed. Their draft to me is okay. This can work, but you can't afford to give up this many kills on a death bump.
I imagine Coach Mikasa is not very happy with player Mikasa. Yeah. Unfortunately, there are no replacements. Dendi maybe getting a turn on here. No, he's able to save him with the IO. Tethering up, looking to turn back in. Artstyle gonna help secure the kill together with VG.R. Now they're looking for Mikasa, who's forced to pop the exorcism. Does get up the spin second. This could be the turn that Na'Vi have been trying to prevent here. As VG.R is on the run, Lasso at the ready. They can run down the Nature's Prophet. Napalm stacking up. They're gonna drag him back. Play the Sea Lasso, have the flame break to break a TP out. VG.R will go for it, but he will be denied by Yang, and Vici Gaming get their feet back under them, and it's very reminiscent of yesterday's game. Mikasa the one to get the triple kill.
How big is it? 1,500.
That's double his net worth nearly. He's getting back in the game now.
Kill bounties, when you're behind in the early game, around 10 to 15 minutes into the game, kill bounties are huge. That's your comeback. You don't go to the jungle to try farm. You don't go into like hibernation and try come out more farm. You have to fight. And Mikasa getting a triple kill right now is the best possible thing imaginable, other than getting an ultra kill or a rampage. He suddenly actually has a fighting chance of turning things around in Vici game.
He dropped a ward to try and scout out this exact gank, and unfortunately the spirits hit him. Vision deployed for Vici, but it comes at a cost. And now Dendi moving forward onto FY, trying to find the second kill. Enchantress backing off, has the blink, Scream cooling down. Can FY heal up enough? I think they have the kill. Just one more blink. Scream secures it. Dendi with the last hit. Again, Orchid coming soon, so as soon as you think Vici Gaming getting their feet back under them, Na'Vi strike back, and bottom lane, maybe they can get Artstyle. Has no TP, the Swarm comes out, the Siphon there, he turns with the Death Ward, can't finish off ZYF, but maybe Nature's Prophet can do what the Witch Doctor could not. TP's streaming in, tower has already fallen mid, and Na'Vi, they look to ramp up the assault and go for their final tier 1 of the game.
Yeah, they have Roar with a Necrobook already online for General. Any target getting roared is pretty much an insta-kill.
And they know the exorcism's on cooldown, so really, how do Vici fight this?
They look for trades elsewhere, I imagine, but at the same time, looking for tower trades is not the way back in the game. As mentioned, you've got to try and find the kills.
Mikasa tanking the roar to swap out Sam from DDC, goes for the stun back in, but the IO sits back behind Dendi, keeps him in fighting shape, and slowly the smoke gank of the remaining 2 Vici heroes arrives. It will be enough to kill Dendi. There was no relocate out. I think he was short on mana, and it just wasn't much time to react anyway. VG.R now being pursued. Vici Gaming looking for the comeback here. Saneko, there's the relocate, brings them back to safety. Dendi has a buyback. Maybe he comes back into this fight, but Witch Doctor down as well. Let's see, are they going to sack the IO, go for the tether out, or do they bring the whole squad in? I thought he had the buyback, actually. Guess not.
Well, he gets a tether back to the tier 1 tower, and
opted to buy the Orchid instead. So he's going for the next fight. ZYF diving the tower. Ooh, playing with fire a bit, but not going to commit for it.
Yep.
So Navi, very aggressive, and even if they get slightly thwarted, they double down on it, but now they have a new tool to fuel that aggression, the Orchid just getting completed, God.
Yeah, they do need to be a bit careful. We are starting to see some of the signs of the old Navi problems where they get off to that great start in the early game lane stage, but then they slightly overextend, and that's kind of two successive fights where Navi give away a couple of high-value kills, and VG.R are slowly kind of clawing themselves a little bit back into this game.
I mean, the gold lead is still very substantial for Navi with a 3-tower advantage, but you look at experience, they wiped out their entire experience lead with just that one or two slightly bad skirmishes.
Mikasa's suddenly level 11. Like if you had seen his start 5 minutes ago, you'd think this guy's just done for. There's no coming back in this game, but
if you saw his performance yesterday, you would know that Mikasa can always come back.
oh yeah.
He's a scrappy coach. Maelstrom for your nature's prophet, now complete. So Navi continuing to build up their split push potential here. We'll see a slow poke forward, and Dendy with the Orchid, a very big threat. Vici do have the swap, and it's going to be up to DDC to keep Hero safe. But they are fishing. Prophet applying that pressure top. Artstar going to drop a ward, but he does so under the troll trap. Immediate rotation. Vici Gaming again deploying smoke, and at the same time, VG.R also sneaking out into the trees. TP's in, the Hawk trying to give some vision, but Vici on the prowl. Can they get the jump? Looking for the lasso to start things up. Seneko backing up. There is a relocate. Take the ward comes out. Quick reaction to Seneko going for that relocate. Will look to turn this fight. Backing the team up. Through with the combo comes through. Finishes off the Bat Rider as well as Mikasa. Now DDC fully committed onto Seneko, but he tethers back out. He's barely surviving, and it looks like he, well, unfortunately relocates back forward, so it does end up dropping at the back end of the fight now. And on the run, Zihoyev desperately scrambling to safety. He heads south with the Sakuchi. VG.R trying to find him and lock him down. The Sakuchi TP secures the retreat. Very chaotic fight, but in the end, another big win for Navi. 1 for 3.
They were just too ready for the Batrider initiation there, and luckily for Bat, he even got the lasso off, but there was a relocate save. There's an instant Orchid attempt from Dendy. It was just a split second too late to prevent the lasso, but even with the lasso going off, the roll was there, so Bat didn't get any chance to pull the hero into the Vici side of the map, and Vici trying to kind of find a pick at bottom lane, but without a lasso, they just don't really have a good initiation here.
Yeah, Yang with the psychological warfare, just blinking at them to try and scare them away, but doesn't really have much threat without the lasso. So they will back off, they'll slow it down, 16 minutes, score 17 to 10. And it seems if Navi can't find the fights, it can always just be the farm game. VG.R pushing out one side of the map, the Queen of Pain the other, and wherever they find the opening, you relocate, you profit TP in, and suddenly there's 5 Navi heroes finding the kills.
Yeah, and they're going to get a lot stronger at these kind of team fights when they get the mech up on Seneco's Wisp. If he had that last fight, it would have been a completely one-sided affair for Navi, but just a couple hundred gold away and he'll have that. They've got the sustain from Voodoo Restoration, which is now maxed out as well, so level 4 heal on Witch Doctor, you throw on a mech, you get the double heal from the tether, and the overcharge to block damage as well. Navi's sustain gets very scary at that point.
I think the thing that does concern me, Gods, is that Vici have blown all their smoke. So when they were fighting pickoffs or trades, they were committing pretty important map control resources when you're down towers like this, and now they don't have any. So if they want to run a Navi, it's going to be with not just the Hawk to potentially give vision, but no way to bypass it.
And it's
going to be very break the contain.
Yeah, very difficult for Batrider at this stage. So I think Vici Gaming Reborn are going to have to try and kind of spend some time just focusing on farming up some of their core items. Navi with map control can just kind of take any objectives they want, or they're going to be the ones dictating what happens next.
They will dictate that Roche shall be in place of the next skirmish. Everyone kept healthy by Artstyle with the max Voodoo Restoration, and then Dendy sees an opening. He jumps in onto Yang right as the ward gets plopped down, and the Orchid gonna pop him, so Batrider out of the picture before the fight's even begun. They do swap in Seneko looking for the pickoff on the Isle, they'll get it. A 1-for-1, but a Bat for Avenge, and suddenly not a 1-for-1 because it's a free Roche for Navi, no trade.
Okay, Dendy's back.
Maybe urging Vici to come into the pit.
I guess with that dead, there was no one to actually blink in, but
never know. But Navi, in the end, they get another objective here, so this will definitely fuel their aggression moving forward.
Yep, and for VG.R, as far as core items they're waiting for, the BKB on Weaver is going to be his first big item pickup. Outside of that, Death Prophet building towards a Yules is at least helpful because you can get rid of the Orchid Silence. You can also just use the self-Yules when your X's them up to make sure you guarantee a decent amount of damage output in a team fight. So that's going to help him out a lot, but it's really Navi who, with the Aegis on their side, will be able to start sieging down these last couple of outer towers.
Dendy feeling very confident now with the Aegis and the IO to back him up. Met complete on Snako, as mentioned. Vici Gaming will be playing defense here. Still no use on Mikasa. Tower taking a pounding. It looks like it will be going down, but there's the Sprout to set things up on FY. Death Ward comes through. Doesn't care about the untouchable. Brings FY low. The Nature's Prophet ult as well. Just securing the tower. A bit more of a zoning approach from Navi. And well, with that tier 2 down, methodically they march towards top. Not feeling like they have to force the issue at all. This is a bit different from that Alliance Game 1 we saw in the previous series. Navi showing a lot of discipline here.
Yeah, they're going to take things slow, and I imagine Navi probably even recognize that this Aegis doesn't have to be a high ground siege for them. They can just take these outer towers, maintain map control. They just want to make sure they're not giving away any big kind of team fight comeback gold the way of Vici Gaming Reborn. So they're going to play things slow for now. Dendy retreating despite having the Aegis just to make sure he can complete that BKB.
Yeah, once he gets it, Vici are going to have a real hard time killing him. There's the relocate save, there's the Aegis, and there's a BKB. There's a couple of spells that will go through it, but even just dodging a Venge Stun could be the difference between living and dying.
Well, Vici Gaming Reborn supports are going to have an even tougher time now. They have to deal with a Shadow Blade on DHR's Nature's Prophet, so can only see Venge getting poorer and poorer at this stage.
It's the feeding life for DDC. It's not the life he chose, but it's the life that's left for him now.
It's tough. You're already like, man, I gotta buy all these sentries to try and maintain some semblance of map control, and now there's a Shadow Blade as well, so you need to buy even more sentries.
Oh, getting a little cute here, trying to find the solo pick, and he's punished by Vici. They spring the trap. Meant to get the Shadow Blade, and he wasn't ready for that. Did force out an Exorcism, though, so it's a pretty big commitment, but Vici might be able to convert this into some tower damage. We'll see, and Navi still getting the trade is they will find the tower top.
DDC's so happy. He's like, that just justified my last, 6 sentry purchases. Finally I get a kill out of him. And funds his next 4 or 5 sentries as well.
Still looking for that first tower on the side of Vici. The IO moving in mid just scared them all away. And with a Death Prophet and Avenge and an Enchantress, not often at 21 minutes you get to take a tier 1. It's just a really... It makes the gold lead huge. Like experience, we're looking at a very minimal lead, but 10k gold is a massive deficit.
Yeah, Navi has spent a bit more time grouped up, so they haven't been really spreading that XP around, but speaks to just how dominant Navi's early game was when you've taken all 6 outer towers without losing a single one of your own and maintain this big gold lead against a draft that's designed to be able to break towers.
The Era now Sprout ganking Enchantress creeps, just more punishment for Vici. What do you think the point is where things can turn for Vici? Is there a key item, a timing? What are they looking for before they can actually take fights?
The force up on Yang's Batrider is quite crucial for them.
That's why. This is gonna hurt. Does he get the TP out? Oh, close call. General was out of range for the roar.
Dendy did have Sonic Wave. I think it's worth using Sonic Wave for that kill, but chooses not to.
I think Dendy's looking for the 5-man wipeout with the TP rune as well.
The Aegis expires soon, so it's not as if they can really hold onto this Aegis for a high ground push, but we'll see what else they may get out of it. As he is headed towards the jungle where a lot of VG.R heroes are awaiting him. Dendy should be very careful about this rotation.
Now looking at the Aegis, we've got just a small window of time before it expires. Fortunately, Dendy has not tracked anyone down yet. Vici Gaming backing off ZYF, DDC, and Mikasa. So far eluded detection. In fact, Dendy's going to walk right by a Dire Ward, but with the amount of farm he has, as well as the lack of knowledge Vici have about where he is, I don't think they're going to try and go on him.
He sees the wave. He actually blinks away when that wave comes out, probably scared that, oh, they're about to go on me, and my Aegis was expiring any second, so yeah. Won't go down.
Does buy some time for Vici, though, so...
It's
able to avoid the fight while the Aegis is out.
Looks like it was going to be a minimum Roche respawn as well. Almost at the earliest possible time we'll have another Roche, which could be Vici Gaming. If they can get as itemized as well as possible for that Roche fight, they might find themselves in a pretty good position. Weaver's got BKB, probably won't be able to find any good damage items, but for now Vici Gaming say, okay, Aegis has expired, let's smoke, let's find a pick off. This is their one smoke in 10 minutes, and they're not going to have another for another 10.5 minutes, so they're really hoping to get a lot out of this because they will not have a smoke for Roshan.
Yeah, flurry of pings coming out from Vici, trying to track down the IO in particular. They don't want the reload kick gang punishing
Navi
the smoke.
out of there, they're 5-manning.
See ya! Straight to the bottom lane.
Yep.
So maybe it'll be a tower smoke gank that Vici look for.
And the Firefly actually is revealed at top lane, so if Navi have their eyes in that area of the map, they will see that there was a Batrider up there, but
they just want to fight around Dendy's TD.
Just seeing how Navi are positioned right now, they know exactly what's going on, and they're actually going to smoke themselves.
Navi moving forward through the bottom lane. Vici Gaming Reborn hanging very far back. And pretty much expecting the Roche to be the site of an upcoming clash. I think Navi are willing to go fairly aggressively here. They're moving in deep. General has the blink roll already. They could even potentially go in the Weaver. They have to be a bit worried about the swap counterplay. DDC is sitting there behind him. The Hawk comes out, baiting him forward. Dendy with the Orchid ready, but they need that roll if they want to go for this. Just not the ideal target.
Yeah, he's too close to the base where they know the Venge is sitting behind him. So if you blink roar the Weaver, the Venge swaps him out to save him. He can time lapse off some of the damage, and then you're committed to a fight where the roar didn't secure you an insta pick off, and suddenly VG.R forcing a fight into exorcism is not a good way to go about it. So it's just not going to really work out well for Navi when they're that close to the dire base. So again, very disciplined control play coming out of the Navi side. We say, all right, they're going to play hide and seek. They're going to stay in their own base. Let's just farm up the map.
Art style is a harsh taskmaster. Listen or get out. And they seem to be listening.
Yeah, I feel like the old Navi would have very much just gone blink roaring in and hoping for that kill. Speaking of which, General, he goes to the blink roar now, deciding that was far enough away from the base, but that was a quick response.
Yeah, this Navi doesn't have a boast. A lot more patient. They are out with the BKB grabbing out, so double BKB for Navi, kind of your classic item if you just want to be able to break the base and force team fights. We used to see it all the time in the old Chinese Dota. The item has been nerfed a lot over, I guess, the past year or so, but it still gives you some really good tools versus Vici. You have the Death Prophet Silence, no longer have to worry about that, the Venge Stun, the other big one, and it frees up the IO to play very patiently on the back lines.
Didn't it get a little buff? It used to be it could go down to 4-second BKB, I think it was.
Yeah.
That was the really sad days of BKB.
BKB has had Saturdays, so this is still on the sad end of the spectrum.
Absolutely. It got nerfed into the ground. It was beaten down time and time again. Incredibly fast road treat for Navi. The realization
that was the feeling good times. I still remember that Mushi game at TI3 where he had bought 2 10-second BKBs. He had a third in the stash and a fourth on his hero. So even as they went down, he just buy a new one. 40k Nature's Prophet, I think it was.
So Aegis for Dendy. He's got a plate mail, which this game probably best bet is going for an assault grass. Should have started not quite.
This is a hard dive. Batrider jumping in, does not have the back up. Navi were just waiting for Vici to overextend, and they are going to comply. FY executed by General. A vicious takedown, and that will prompt an immediate push out through mid.
You just nailed it. They've just been waiting for Vici Gaming to go on them, knowing that they will be ready to counterattack. And at some point, Vici Gaming is going to just get fed up with the fact they're being outfarmed. Navi has entire map control. They're farming everything. Vici Gaming Reborn is at a pace to lose the game, so they finally get a little bit impatient, think they have an opening to go for a kill, and Navi ready for it, counterplay it perfectly.
I mean, you don't pick that rather than just sit back and watch the enemy team farm the entire map. That's not how it's supposed to work, say Vici, but Navi moving in mid. Mikasa getting clipped now, has done in general. Again, blink in and chop. Goes the Death Prophet, another kill. That's 4. Could be a full takedown. It is 5. And fallen, and they're roaring here inside the arena. This has been outrageously one-sided.
Yeah. We've had faster games here this Starladder Turf, but I feel like this might actually be the most one-sided game so far. I mean, just based on like the momentum, the entire game, Navi have been in control from minute one. At no point did Vici Gaming really have any openings back in the game. There was a couple times where they got a couple key kills, but Navi it really just
and more punishment for Yang. The war again, he gets the jump, and again he gets the kill. F1's gonna be next. Vici Gaming gets slaughtered, cleaned up, and taken out. Navi now one win away from a date with LGD in the winter bracket finals here at Starladder, and boy, they sure love it.
Navi looking better than ever. Just impressive stuff here. They clawed their way through OG yesterday. They've got a ton of momentum riding behind them, and they just bullied Mikasa in the mid lane. And it wasn't even just the mid lane, it was all across the map. Enchantress didn't have any openings to go for any ganks.